G'day everybody, Farmer Wade here for Billboard Battalion. Today is Tuesday the 26th of August 2025 and we're back in Canberra to do more interviews with more of our politicians, more meetings, and we're starting to find a whole heap of extra people who are talking about different issues now. It's really sort of good that people are starting to come up to us and talk to it. And one of the big issues, of course, is that we're doing a lot of the stuff that the mainstream media don't want to do, and they don't want to touch, and they don't want to give people who just tell the truth and just actually represent their constituents a voice. So that's sort of one of the reasons why we decided to come here the last sitting fortnight. So we've come here today and we've met Tyron Whitten again from One Nation, who's a brand new senator from Western Australia. So Tyron's had a bit of a win here, in his first sort of outing, more or less. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but we might just throw it open and just see how your first little bit of time is going, Tyron, and how you're handling it, and is it everything you expect it to be?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Yeah, it's a lot. Very busy. That's one word. From sun up or sun down, we're go, and trying to shine the light on the government and all the things we believe are wrong with the world. So yeah,
I assume there'd be a reasonable list of those things.
It's a large list, yeah, but we're trying to prioritise and stay in our lane where we're strong. Yeah.
And to some degree, that's sort of what we're doing here, to try and shine a spotlight on a few things. And the more you hear, here in Canberra, the more you go, I think there's a lot more work to do than what we first thought. So first of all, congratulations on becoming a One Nation senator. You're representing Western Australia. So that number's growing. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So we also have a lot to do with the renewable energy sector, and there's a fair few things that are going on that people aren't exactly made aware of when this all starts. The reason we're talking to you today is you've had an action in Parliament there about something's happening in Western Australia. So we might throw it open to hear what you've been doing, and it's always great to kick a goal and get somewhere.
Yeah, look, I've been advocating for the people of the southwest of WA and against the wind farm they're proposing for Geograph Bay. I can't comprehend that anybody thinks it's a good idea to put a wind farm in the ocean, let alone in a whale superhighway, let alone in a whale birthing and nursery area.
Absolutely.
It just beggars belief. So we decided to put in a Freedom of Information request. And surprise, surprise, the same person that declared it not an action, not a controlled action, they were the one that rejected our Freedom of Information request, which it just seems like a conflict to me.
It does, and I'm not in the politics in Western Australia, but immediately that you say that, you go, well, hang on, something's not quite right here. We hear these politicians talk about transparency and accountability and so on.
A lot of that around here.
But it sounds to me like they'll put the fox in charge of the henhouse, so to speak. So you put up a motion, and you've got support for that from who supported that with you?
Well, it was basically most of the Labor people weren't in the room, so they didn't
object.
Didn't object, yeah. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. So the other lever we had the ability to pull was put forward the notice of motion, and it was successful. So it's the start of a process, and hopefully the documents that we're meant to receive turn up.
No, beautiful.
Yeah.
So the thing you're trying to find out about, the thing that's being done that you're trying to shine a light on and get some clarity here, and I presume probably to notify the Australian people of what's being done. So what are they doing that that you're looking at?
So they basically just waved the project through without going through all the proper environmental checks and balances under the EPBC Act.
Yep.
We can't understand that has happened. There's no way they'd put an oil rig out there without going through that process. So how is a wind farm any different? The first part of their pre-construction is marine survey, and we know from overseas that there's a risk of harming marine life, all sorts of marine life, let alone when we get to the construction phase. So we just want to halt this. I mean, ideally we want the project to go away, but at minimum there needs to be the proper environmental checks and balances to give everybody the understanding that the government is meaning what they say when they talk about transparency.
Okay, that's a joke, right? So yeah, it's quite amazing that when you look at, for example, people who might want to go fishing or do any little tiny thing, you've basically got to jump through 27,000 hoops to get approval to do anything at all.
Try and build something on your property.
Yep.
The number of bits of paper and approvals you've got to get to build a little shed in your backyard, it's ridiculous. But to build a wind farm in a whale superhighway, no problem at all, wave it through.
The government appears to have a very specific objective, and as you know, we travel a lot of Australia and we look at a lot of the stuff that's happening in the so-called renewable sector, and government are just falling over themselves to approve anything at all. Yep. It doesn't. They make all the noises as if they're looking after the environment or they're doing this, that, the other thing, when in fact they're just smashing it down.
How do you save the environment by bulldozing forests? Like, really, I just it's an oxymoron. It just doesn't make sense to anybody, and anybody that cares about the environment. Even if you believe, what we believe is nonsense, surely you can't be okay with the potential to kill whales.
Yeah.
Like you cannot honestly say that no, we're okay with killing whales.
And I mean, when you look at back when the conservation kind of thing first kicked off, whaling was a big ticket item on the conservation thing, and also protecting rainforest and bushland.
Yep.
Well, this stuff with renewable energy infrastructure is just destroying everything of that.
Just mow it down. Yep.
Well, you look up at Kilcaven there; they're just pushing the top off mountains, flattening that. All over the country, they've got farmland that is now being overrun with this renewable energy infrastructure, and at great cost to the agricultural sector and our food production and security.
Yep.
So,
people need to start thinking about where their children's food is going to come from, because that's where we're at. We are destroying and making farmland unusable at a rate of knots, and it's
I constantly hear politicians, bureaucrats, and other players in the game who are saying, "Oh, the people in the cities don't care what's happening out here, so long as their lights come on when they flick the switch."
Yep.
But I don't accept that. I think that people in the cities don't know the nuts and bolts of all this. Yep. For sure, everybody wants to just flick the switch and turn on the light, and that's great.
Yep.
But we're destroying a system that used to work quite well to bring in a system that is having enormous ecological and environmental impacts that most of the people in our cities don't know about.
No.
Anyway, at the end of the day, we're glad to see that your first tour, let's just say that for want of a better term,
successful.
You're kicking some goals.
Yep.
So that's a lot of people, when they talk about major parties, they say, "Oh, these little parties, they can't get anything done, blah blah blah." But very, very clearly, you can.
Yeah. Well, here we are. One mark on the board and looking for plenty more. So it's only early days, but 6 years to go.
Well, and that's very that's very exciting for the country to see that got a bloke who's come in straight off the building site, quite literally, and who just is nailing it. And I think with the right attitude, I was talking to a fellow there the last time we're here. He's a member for an area in a mining area, and they tell everybody they're for the workers, and that when the policies are not supporting workers, the policies are actually destroying jobs and businesses.
Yeah, I can't fathom you're a coal miner and vote for Labor. Like, it just doesn't make any sense in any world. Like,
it's really. And look, the more that we see what's happening in Parliament, you hear the speeches and you hear the sentiment, and you know what they're actually doing. You think what they're talking about is completely opposite to what they're talking about. We talk about people having jobs, having houses, making money, being able to raise a family and having good quality food, which is what we're all about. And clean oceans and good rainforests and a whole lot. I'm sorry that it doesn't seem to me that adds up, and I think that the more we're here, I think the more we need to be here.
Don't listen to what people say. Look at how they vote, because they can be two totally different things. So. Don't listen to what they say. Look at how they vote. Look at the record.
And some of the pollies that we've spoken to and done some interviews with, they're saying, well, a lot of the politicians here, they sort of get in the clique and they get in the thing of having the prestige and the money and the power and all that sort of thing, and then they just lose all ethics. Just goes completely out the window, and they'll put their hand up and vote for anything they're told to, so long as it gets them to stay in a place and position like this.
Well, if you're in the Labor Party, you will vote the way the boss says. Like, you don't have a choice. I think the coalition might have a slight bit of flexibility, but not a whole lot. You would soon be a pariah over there, and we've seen a few of them.
Like we have reached out to interview a number of Labor politicians, and the interesting thing is not one of them has agreed. You always get that, call my office, say you call the office, and well, listen, can you send an email with this and this, and that's where it dies, because they do not want. I mean, I could not see Albanese sitting here and doing an interview with me just like you are.
They're like cockroaches when you turn the light on.
It's you look at the front bench and you go, these people are not here for Australia, mate.
No, they are not.
They're here for something completely different to what's in the best interests of us. So, look, I'm very, 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 very grateful that you've put your hand up and you've got the job, and now very grateful from Australia's point of view that you and the rest of One Nation team are kicking it. Having a red hot crack. So. I don't think we can ask for much more than that, mate. So
it's a great privilege and a big responsibility. I've got a lot of people are depending on me to do the right thing, and that's what I'll be doing. I have no other reason to be here.
No, I'm sure it's not just for fun.
No, it's not for fun.
And we sort of drive up and down here to Canberra. We're going to have to do this a bit. Not my favourite. I'd rather be home on a tractor or something like that. Thanks very much. But anyway, I think that it just needs to happen. We don't see the mainstream media running the sort of information and stories that just inform the public. The government here just gets a free ride to do whatever they want, and mainstream media covers it up.
Yes, they do. They've been doing it for a long time, and prior to the election, even post the election, no mainstream media's been knocking on the door. Where are they? I don't know. Well, I'm not interested.
I'm just a bloke from the bush, and if I can see things that are so seriously and catastrophically wrong, and you know, what they tell you is so far from the truth.
So far removed from the truth. Yeah.
So, you know, like we see TV crews and that here every day, and I'm not sure, I haven't seen any reports where they've asked the Labor Party any of these questions at all. Nothing.
No.
Zip.
So they won't ask them the tough questions. So.
She's a closed book, mate. So, all right. Well, look, I'd just like to say thanks very much for talking to us again.
Thanks for coming again.
And you know, I think we need to get this information out on whatever platforms we can.
Yep.
And people need to share these kinds of interviews on all their platforms.
Yep.
Because that's how we combat the mainstream media and their monopoly on the truth. They shut it down. So, all right. Well, thanks very much, Tyron, and I'm glad you've had a good time, mate. And yeah, I can see you getting amongst it and starting to learn the ropes.
Yep.
Which will take a little bit of time, I reckon. You've got good staff around you.
Yeah.
And a good team to work with. So,
Yep.
all right, mate.